Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Well, it's about time we begin once again. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting round of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. I hope you all had a wonderful week and you had a nice weekend as well, because I definitely know I had, because let's just say that recently I've been busy with other stuff. Oh, Jay Monty definitely had a good week from the sound of it. And well, as you can probably see behind me, I was busy changing up some stuff. And for those of you listening, well, I decided to go and do a bit of renovation, as you could see here. And, well, I know that, it definitely seems a bit different than how it used to be before, but don't worry, you will have a bit of a closer look soon. Not immediately, but there will be another time that you'll have, a closer inside look of what I've done with my shelves. Oh, and thank you, Gorn and Before J Monty for the subscriptions. But anyways, what we are here for, yes, it is going to be for the podcast. And man, do we have an exciting episode for you today, especially with Disney coming back a little bit in the news and slowly but surely grabbing people's interest again with what they do have in store. I mean, there are some things that are pretty negative about Disney that's going on right now, like with all the firings, but there are still some things that we are excited to see from Disney, and that in some cases we are rooting for Disney, along with several other stories. So this week is going to definitely be a good time, or should I say this episode will absolutely be a good time. And also I just want to go and put out a quick message to say thank you all for the patience that you have endured throughout the weeks for Animation Look Back: The Muppets Part 5. I understand that the delays have been very frustrating. Oh my god, people have been subbing and like putting in donations or cheers. Wow, already the excitement is already happening. Like the hype is already happening so quickly at the start. But as I was saying, I just want to go and give out a quick thanks for the wait, for all the delays. I understand that it was a frustrating process, especially to get in touch with the sponsors, to actually get the stuff, like to review the video that I've done, or like the plug that I made to make sure it's all okay by their standards, and to go and get the custom link to put in the description and in the pinned comment. But I'm glad that it is finally released, and I'm glad that you are all enjoying it. Especially, may I say, is probably the best part so far of this series. So I'm definitely glad that I got that weight off of my shoulders, and that we can all finally move on and be excited for what is to come. So I just want to go and put out that statement. All right, but anyways, with all that said and done, now I would like to go into the chat wall, and it's time that I ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Come on, let me hear it, folks. Are you ready? Let's see here. Yes, I see people are prepared. That is beautiful. That is great. All right, so with that said, though, I think it is now time that we shall go and get this show started. And with the first story that I have for you today, we're gonna go and check out a special little trailer. In fact, last week it was very interesting in terms of movie news because it was CinemaCon, and that is the big event in Las Vegas that happens every year, where movie theater owners would go to Vegas and they would see a big presentation from all the major studios in regards to the upcoming movies that they have in store, which features a whole bunch of special guests and early previews as well, like showing clips of movies or images or big announcements that would occur, but a lot of them would usually be private. But there are a few in which they would go out to the public. And this is one of them. And already it has been gathering some anticipation and some hype. We have heard about it before back at D23, but now we are getting a good first look of how this film is gonna go. Now, so with all that said, it is now time we begin our first story by taking a look at the teaser trailer for the upcoming Walt Disney Animation Studios movie, Wish. Oh, wait a minute. Just want to double check something. Okay, yeah. I just realized, wait a minute. Nope, you guys don't have the audio. Let me do that again. Yeah!
For us than this.
And that is Disney's Wish, their latest animated feature, to which it will be coming soon exclusively in theaters on November 22nd. And I gotta say that like I said before, I was familiar with Wish ever since it was first revealed at last year's D23 Expo. And in there, technically, in terms of the public outside of like what was been revealed within the walls of the Anaheim Convention Center, like we only had like one image, a title, and a little bit of a concept where they would say that this is a movie about wishes. And I remember back then, I was definitely intrigued because of the fact that it sounded like the most Disney thing ever. Like, imagine like the first words you would think of in terms of Disney, and then you go and use that as your concept of a movie. But now that I finally did get my first taste, now that I finally do see what was talked about in terms of what they privately showed at D23, I gotta say that honestly, man, this thing has the potential. And I don't just mean like, oh, this has potential to be great. No, this has potential to really be one of the best of the year, like easily among one of the best animated features of 2023, because some of the stuff that they presented, it is absolutely remarkable. I think the first thing we got to go and talk about is in regards to the animation. Now, in here, Disney is going to go in a bit of a different direction than what they would usually do, because in terms of their recent animated features, rather it be Raya, Encanto, and Strange World, they really do lean in on the fact that it is computer animation and really use all of their resources to really create these extravagant 3D worlds. But this time around, taking similar steps to other studios such as Sony and DreamWorks, now they're going to go into the stylized realm. And I gotta say, like, the first impression of this animation, it is absolutely beautiful. Like, this shot over here, like, here, let me just give you a better look. This is just incredible. Like the direction that I see that they're going with is just taking the concept art that they would go and create and just bring that to life. Like, if I just hand you this photo, like you see with the main character Asha and her little goat Valentino just staring at the kingdom, like, you'd think this would be like a concept art of like, okay, this is what the movie might look like before we get to work. No. This is the movie. And you see like this painterly style, like there's kind of like this handcrafted element that's just, you know, that feels like it's just brought to life. And already you see throughout that the style just functions beautifully, especially with among the first shots when you see all the different characters and you see the environment just coming to life. Like, the style, it's a little bit like you see the aspects that are familiar from modern Disney. Like, this is the same style that we have seen, that we're familiar, like in Tangled or Frozen or Moana. Like, it has that modern Disney signature style, but it's presented in a brand new way. It's been given this new artistic filter that really works to its advantage. Like, you could see more of the artistry that is within, and already it's absolutely beautiful. Or like another moment where they really take advantage of this new style is with the little wish star character. Like when Asha and Valentino discovered like this little like chubby Luma like star. Whoops, hold on there. Okay, there we go. And like when they see that star, like you see how it's just like fully stylized, doesn't necessarily have a shadow, but it's kind of like like you see it as this living drawing, if that makes sense. Like you see it moving around, and yeah, it really does work. It's you know, it's really nice. Like just the style of it, like just have a good close up. Like it really does feel like a living concept art. Like it was actually crafted by hand, not like maybe by computer, but like doing its best to look like it's done by hand. But already, like, it's just incredible. Even just looking at the backgrounds, like the leaves and the trees of how they're crafted. If I may use my animation nerd terms, like it has that Ivan Earl feel. Like, you know, the guy who did the backgrounds for Sleeping Beauty, it has that kind of design where it's more abstract, but there's that element of detail that like immediately resembles like what is supposed to be in terms of nature, like with the trees and the leaves. So already I just have to say this animation is just flat out beautiful. I really do love it. But then there's also another thing that I really do like from this, and this was something that I've actually already heard, and that is the song that they would play. So let's just have a quick listen again of that little song. So yeah, like, well, let's start from over here. Hold on, let's put on the volume. All right, that's enough because I don't want to get copyright claimed or whatever. But yeah, like this song, which apparently they even put it in the description on Disney Animation's YouTube channel. They actually said this song is called "This Wish," and of course, it is sung by the woman who's going to be playing Asha in the film, Oscar-winning actress Ariana DeBose. Now, I've already heard this song before. Like, there was someone who actually recorded at D23 that, like, Ariana DeBose came in and sung that song. And I knew instantly, right from the moment I've heard that song back at D23, like, I knew that was going to be a winner. That was the first thing that really told me that Wish is going to be something really, really special. And hearing this again, like that sense of magic that is within that song, like that same kind of magic that was carried through in other Disney songs like I See the Light or Let It Go, like that special little magic that makes it feel Disney, that really made those songs feel like a phenomenon. Like I can hear that as well in that Wish. Like it really is a beautiful song, and getting a taste of that, just like that little reminder, it's like it honestly really fueled me up in terms of this being a musical and how it is going to be like in terms of the songs, how that music is going to go, which by the way, apparently the music is going to be done by Julia Michaels and Benjamin Rice. So that's one thing I'm definitely excited about, because so far just that song, and especially with how it is used in this trailer, definitely fantastic. And I think that amongst everything, like maybe even more than the animation, it makes me hyped up for how this movie is going to go. Now, there is one thing, though, that I do need to address, and there are some that may have criticized it. Like, when I would talk to people about this trailer, this is the one thing that makes them not feel 100% sure if they really want to go see this, and this is in terms of the story, because I will admit that what they are showing here in this trailer, like, they don't necessarily reveal a lot in terms of the narrative. Even the things that they have introduced, it's like basic, like very, very basic. and pretty much showing some of like the Disney essentials. Like, for example, one thing that they would show is, where is it? Like, one thing they would show is that you got the kingdom, and then you also got the villain, which, by the way, is another thing that I want to go and address. And another thing that really has a lot of people talking is the fact that from what it seems in this trailer is that we actually do have a straightforward villain, which in this case is going to be King Magnifico, played by Chris Pine. And this is going to be Disney Animation's first true villain ever since Tangled with Mother Gothel. Like, not a plot twist villain, no generational trauma, no like redeemable kind of villain in a sense, or a redeemable antagonist, kind of like the grandmother in Encanto and stuff like that. No, this is like a straightforward bad guy, and it seems like that's what we're kind of getting, or maybe what we're getting in this trailer. So that's one thing a lot of people are definitely hyped about, is the fact that we are getting a true, legitimate Disney villain with Wish. But getting back to what I was talking about, some of the other things that they also showed, like you got the princess, who is the protagonist of the story. Then you got the animal sidekick. And then like you got as well, like the cute mythical creature as well. That can be optional, but that's like another sidekick character that we do have, and we have songs. So a lot of the stuff that they do show, it is very basic. But then again, one thing I will say is that yes, there's nothing really there's nothing in terms of the plot or the characters or anything like that that would immediately go and grab our interest. Like they barely show much of that. But then again, I will give this a pass because technically this is a teaser trailer. You know, this is not something that's supposed to go and immediately reveal everything to us. It's not going to go and immediately straight up tell us, all right, here's the movie. This is what it's all about. These are who the characters are. Let's go. You know, they're not going to go and immediately do that. They're just giving us like a little taste of what is in store. And in a way, it's just doing its job as a teaser trailer. But I will say, considering that it doesn't really show a lot in terms of what would be in terms of the writing, that I do understand that maybe there are some people who are not immediately sold on the idea, and I get it. Like maybe the next trailer, when there is a full trailer that's going to be coming soon, maybe in the summer, that's when they're going to go and fully show us what is in store with this Wish movie. So in that regard, I will give Disney a pass for not revealing a whole lot about it. But then again, I understand why people would say that they need to see a bit more in order to be fully convinced. But I will say that in my part, honestly, like, yeah, I do agree. Maybe I would need to see a bit more to have a better understanding of what this movie is going to be. But the stuff that they do present, that they got it right, like the stuff that managed to work well, like the animation and the This Wish song, oh my God, not only did they nail it, but this is already a contender for best of the year. I know I've already said it before, but this could legitimately be a contender for like among the best animated movies this year, that can be on par with the ones that are like very hyped up so far, with stuff like Spider-Verse or Elemental. Like this is already a strong contender. Like if people had a cynical look towards Disney because of some of their recent stuff like Strange World, this could be the thing that could redeem many people out there. I know that some people might say that, well, on Twitter, a lot of people are already trying to be very cynical towards Wish, and they're already complaining about a bunch of stuff. But then again, it's Twitter. All they do is freaking complain. What do they know? But yeah, I gotta say, for me, I feel like the song is amazing what they presented in here, and the animation is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, this is definitely one of my more anticipated animated features. It has always been, but this one kind of justifies it a bit more with some of those elements, and I honestly cannot wait until the next trailer comes when we do have a bit more info about it. So if you are all excited to go and see Disney's Wish, then keep in mind that the movie will be released on November 22nd, around American Thanksgiving. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and now I want to ask you all, what do you think about the Wish teaser trailer? Are you all excited to see this movie? Are you all as hyped up as I am? Or are you a little bit more doubtful? Do you have any concerns? Let me know what you all think on this. All right. Let's see what we got. You have no idea how anticipated I am for this, since this is from the filmmaker that did Frozen, including Chris Buck, in which I absolutely admire so much. I do think Wish has the potential of being something special in honoring Disney Animation's centennial anniversary. The animation, the style, the songs, and the characters are looking great so far, and I'm absolutely ready to see it. But I'm absolutely surprised that no one has noticed that the aspect ratio for this movie is 2.55 out of 1. The same, and yeah, I do know what you mean. Technically, yeah, this isn't just widescreen. This is technically like super widescreen. Like, this is the same kind of like really widescreen that was done before, like in Lady and the Tramp or Sleeping Beauty. In fact, there was actually one thing, I wish I saved that tweet, but there was actually someone who pointed out that in almost every shot that we see in Disney's Wish, like every single shot is like an homage to a past Disney animated film, rather it be like the classics like Cinderella, Snow White, or Sleeping Beauty, or even some of the recent ones like Moana or Frozen or Encanto. Like you see in every shot, like there is like a little bit of a reference, which is actually really cool, and like it shows how much there is this like true homage to the past Disney animated films. Then again, let's see what else we got. As Oogie Boogie said it best, well, what have we here? This looks amazing. The 2D CG blend animation looks absolutely gorgeous, as well as the backgrounds and effects, maybe a sign of a future full 2D movie in the future. I wouldn't bet on it, but the music sounds very promising, and the human characters may have a lot of potential as well as the story. Big downer, why the low bass voice for the goat? Never mind that. I'll book that Wish ticket faster than the Flash. Count on it. All right. What other comments do we have? Finally, a straightforward Disney villain that isn't another bullcrap plot twist villain. I also really like how gorgeous the animation looks and how it looks a bit different than the other past Disney films, and the song sung by Ariana DeBose sounds pretty good. I'm looking forward to what Wish has in store for us. Also, is it me or does King Manifesto look like Duke Kaboom's father? Oh my god. Yeah, okay, yeah. You know, like, we're glad that there's no more generational trauma, but then again, we're like, we need a better picture of, like, where does he look like? I don't know. Do we have, like, a better image of Duke Kaboom in here? Okay, yeah, like, actually, I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. Just not 100% sure on that one. I don't really see much of that Duke Kaboom similarity, but anyways, let's see what else we have. This trailer absolutely blew me away. This honestly has the potential to be the best animated film from Disney in recent years and the next Disney classic. The story is really interesting, the animation is absolutely gorgeous, and this actually has a lot has an honest to God straightforward Disney villain for once. So overall, I am extremely hyped for this, and it seems like a great way to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the company, and hopefully Disney will have the decency to advertise this properly. Well, I mean, the fact that we have a teaser trailer and like we're about half a year away from the movie, that's already a good start. Let's see what else do we have here. Out of all the non-Sony produced Spider-Verse inspired movies we've been getting, this is the first one that looks good to me. Really? What about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? Or anyways, not gonna get into that argument. If Disney doesn't want to return to fully hand-drawn animated features, this seems like a good compromise. I'm still more excited for Elemental, but that fact that the studio that brought us The Bridge to Terabithia, Teacher's Pet the movie, and The Lottery starring Bette Midler is going to give us another amazing movie has me extremely hyped. And also I now stand Clayface Goat. Okay, let's see what else we have. I'm thinking peak Disney. The animation looks absolutely tremendous. The song that Asha sings is absolutely beautiful. And man, I miss legit Disney villains that aren't twists or generational trauma or dark spaghetti monsters like what the Droon was. Oh, like in Raya and the Lost Dragon. Yeah, I know what you mean. If they play their cards right, this may be their best film in years. This may even be their best film if they make stars say things like, "The only hope is the sweet release of death." Yeah, just like the Sun and Luma cameo. Like, it's gonna be the year. It's gonna be the year of masochistic, cute little stars. All right, we're gonna read one more comment before we go and move on to our break and the next story. Let's see. I gotta say, Wish has a lot of potential because it looks like a return to hand-drawn animated films, but still mixed with some CG effects. The biggest thing in the upcoming film is the animation with a more stylish, like Spider-Verse and watercolor effects that is taken from the concept. I hope this film succeeds in the box office and is a big important project for the 100-year celebration of Disney. Bob Iger, you got to do your best. Exactly. So once again, if you are excited to see Disney's Wish, then keep in mind it will be released on November 22nd. Now, we're going to go and have our first break, but when we do return, we are going to go and watch another exciting thing that Disney is going to do, but maybe not necessarily a movie, but it's more the fact that finally they're going to make a freaking stupid governor shut up. And we are back. Now, for the next story, I will say that it kind of reminds me of a recent event that happened. You probably all recall about a recent incident that happened at Disneyland when the Maleficent dragon during the Fantasmic show ended up catching on fire. And I don't mean the usual shtick of like breathing fire. I mean like the whole animatronic itself was just completely set on fire. It was almost as if Mickey was just sick and tired of all these Disney villains just trying to enter into his dream and turn it into a nightmare. It's like Mickey was there. It's like, okay, no, you know what? No, we're done. This is my dream and I wanted to stay it as my dream. So you know what? No, we are over with this crap. It just immediately sets the Maleficent dragon on fire. Like really went overload. But it looks like Disney might go and do that again. Like maybe that thing in Fantasmic was a bit of an accident. But this right here, though, it'll be as if it was done on purpose. And the next target that Disney will go and set on fire is Governor Ron DeSantis. Yes, after like an entire year of just being a Republican target and being labeled as woke again and again and pretty much being used as a political punching bag, Disney has had enough and they are going to go and sue the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis. And I actually do have the lawsuit right over here. I actually do have the document that is provided by Deadline, in which it's a pretty hefty, it's a pretty hefty file, like with 77 pages long. Of course, I'm not going to go and read everything. I'm just going to read you a little bit from the introduction to give you an idea of what Disney is doing over here. So, reading from my source, it states, for more than half a century, Disney has made an immeasurable impact on Florida and its economy, establishing Central Florida as a top global tourist destination and attracting tens of millions of visitors to the tens of millions of visitors to the state each year. people and families from every corner of the globe have traveled to Walt Disney World because of the unrivaled guest experience it provides and deep emotional connection that generations of fans have with Disney's timeless stories and characters. I should know, I recently been one of them. In fact, I'm actually wearing one of their shirts now. I actually got from the hotel, actually. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about, here you can have a better view of the lawsuit over here. A targeted campaign of government retaliation orchestrated at every step by Governor DeSantis as punishment for Disney's protected speech now threatens Disney's business operations, jeopardizes its economic future in the region, and violates its constitutional rights. Today's act is the latest strike. At the governor's bidding, the state's oversight board has perpetrated to void publicly noticed and dully agreed development contracts, which has laid the foundation for billions of Disney's investment dollars and thousands of jobs. This government action was patently retaliatory, patently anti-business, and patently unconstitutional. But the governor and his allies have made it clear that they do not care and will not stop. The governor recently declared that his team would not only void the development agreement, just as they did today, but also plan to look at things like taxes on the hotels, tolls on the roads, developing some of the property that the district owns with more amusement parks, and even putting a state prison next to Walt Disney World. Who knows? I just think the possibilities are endless, he said. Disney regrets that it has come to this, but having exhausted efforts to seek a resolution, the company is left with no choice but to file this lawsuit to protect its cast members, guests, and local development partners from a relentless campaign to weaponize government power against Disney in retaliation for expressing a political viewpoint unpopular with certain state officials. Disney is enormously proud of the foundation role that it has played in creating Central Florida's tourism industry. The Reedy Creek Improvement District, or RCID, or the district, Disney's local government jurisdiction, was integral to the success from the beginning in 1967. So I'm just going to go and stop right here. But basically, the big thing that, the big reason why Disney is finally suing Ron DeSantis is because after all the months of being targeted again and again, all because last year when Bob Chapek was CEO and after waiting far too long that he denounced the infamous Don't Say Gay bill, Ron DeSantis and pretty much all the American Republicans have, like I said before, used Disney as a massive political punching bag, continuously labeling them as woke, continuously presenting them as this massive enemy, and throwing this massive campaign to make them, to basically make them lose business. So to take them down as much as possible, kind of like the big, as viewing them as the big woke monster that they must take down, that if America is going to be free from anything that they view as woke, then they must go and take down Disney. And that was what Ron DeSantis was trying to do again and again, to keep punishing Disney because they denounced the Don't Say Gay bill. And he would keep on trying to do things again and again, like trying to change up the Reedy Creek district so that they would be on his control and that it would force Disney to follow their rules. But every time he would try to do so, or any time that the Republicans would keep trying to punish Disney, it would just not work. There are these laws and all these loopholes that Disney would find a way to just continuously outsmart the Republicans. But then in recent years, recently, Ron DeSantis started to go a bit more extreme with his actions. Like I said before, after after that loophole was discovered in which Disney would still keep control of the area, or technically the Reedy Creek area, so that that they could keep running things their way instead of people like Ron DeSantis trying to force Disney to follow their politics and to force them to be more conservative. what Ron DeSantis would try to do is to try to do everything to ensure that Disney would lose business in Florida, like suggesting things like putting up a prison right next to Walt Disney World, or try to make other theme parks to get tourists to leave Disney and go to other places and all that kind of stuff, like trying to do everything to try to make Disney lose business because they view them as woke, to punish them for their inclusivity and their tolerance towards people who are different. But now, considering that these actions are starting to seem pretty desperate and are at the point of being unconstitutional, unlawful, and maybe in some cases illegal, that's why we are at this point where Disney is now suing Ron DeSantis. But one thing I do have to say is that when seeing this whole thing being developed, like, I already see how Disney, like, they are very strategic when it comes to handling this entire situation and trying to maneuver around this whole case. Because, yeah, like, I can understand how like, Disney is stuck in this very difficult position where they are stuck, they are stuck being berated by this authoritarian, I would say almost even a fascist governor trying to punish Disney just because they were expressing their opinion. Like, it was literally like this guy, it was literally DeSantis is trying to punish Disney, trying to criminalize them because they were just expressing their freedom of speech. Like, it was really at the point where, like, Ron DeSantis got so triggered that a company like Disney would express an opinion that he doesn't agree with, so he would do everything he can in order to make Disney canceled. He has the same kind of reaction as a YouTube troll when they would hear an opinion they don't like and they want to do everything in their power to ruin that person's life as revenge for hearing an opinion that they don't necessarily agree with. And from there, Disney was just very strategic. And when it was revealed about that loophole in which it allowed them to keep power of the Reedy Creek district for like 15 to 16 years, that's when I knew that Disney is actually pretty smart with what they were doing, because I was very suspicious when you hear rather it be Bob Chapek or Bob Iger, they were there like, no, we're cool. No, we're gonna let things slide. We're gonna let this happen. We'll coordinate with Ron DeSantis to make sure everyone is happy. Like, they were like too calm during this entire situation. And that's what it told me. Like, that's when I knew, like, they knew what they were doing. They were like already 5 steps ahead of Ron DeSantis and all other Republicans out there. And like, they knew that they're going to come out okay, no matter what. And so from there, it does have to, you got to go and wonder, why is it that Ron DeSantis is so desperate to go after Disney again and again and again? Like, why is it that he's trying to make it his life goal to take down Disney at all costs, despite the fact that Disney is probably the Walt Disney World is the #1 source of Florida's economy. Like, they're the ones that are helping the most in fueling their revenue and fueling business and fueling tourism and stuff like that. I mean, there are plenty of other reasons as well, such as, like, there's also like Universal and SeaWorld, Legoland, and all the other theme parks, but it's Walt Disney World primarily. Well, the thing is with Ron DeSantis is that he's doing so not because of his personal opinion. It's not because of any personal vendetta or anything like that. It's because of his brand. The thing with Ron DeSantis is that his brand, the way that he wants to present himself, is that he wants to portray as the champion against woke culture, like America's greatest weapon against anything that is labeled as woke. Like whatever would be woke, he would just go and immediately take it down. And that's exactly with what he is trying to do in the education center. Like in the education sector in Florida, like basically doing all the censorship, like censoring critical race theory, censoring anything that mentions the LGBTQ plus community or trans people and stuff like that. Like basically anything anything that doesn't follow the Mein Kampf book, he would go and censor, and he would just go and ban, like just flat out entirely. So that's why he would keep on trying to present himself as like the ultimate anti-woke weapon. And what is considered to be the most woke thing out there? Disney. Because the far right has always had a hatred against Disney. Like even long before the term woke was like brought up, long before Trump, like for decades even, far right extremists always have a serious hatred against Disney. It's just that unfortunately, we live in an age where far-right extremism has become more mainstream because of Donald Trump. And so that is why far-right extremist voice have become a lot more louder, thus the hatred against Disney became a lot more louder. And so from there, Ron DeSantis, like if Ron DeSantis wants to prove to people that he is the champion against woke culture, he would have to take down the ultimate woke monster out there, which is Disney. And he would keep on trying again and again, but so far it's just not really been working well. So that's why, like, whenever you see things that are not working, that's when Ron would suddenly become a lot more desperate, and he would suggest these ridiculous things, like really putting a state prison right next to Walt Disney World. That honestly just sounds, like that thing, he sounds like he's at his last resort. He desperately wants to do everything he can to try to take down woke Disney, and like even suggesting these ridiculous things. He's at the point where like now he's running out of options, and he's just, he's just desperate to make things happen. He's just desperate to reach his goal. He doesn't care how he would go and do it. He doesn't care like what he would destroy in his path. As long as he takes down woke Disney, that's what, like he'll go and immediately do it. And that's why, and that's why he's so desperate to try to take it down, because his brand is pretty much on the line. But there is a catch to all this, though. Recently, if you guys have not noticed, the thing with Ron DeSantis is that he is becoming increasingly unpopular with Republicans. Like, I mean, I think it is safe to say that the majority of people already hate him, but even within his own base, he is starting to be despised by his own peers, by his own people. And the biggest reason to why is because he is often considered to be Donald Trump's leading opponent for the 2024 Republican candidate. Like, if it's not going to, like, a lot of people are saying that if it's not going to be Trump that's going to be leading the Republican Party in 2024, then it's going to be Ron DeSantis. And that's why for many people who are still loyal to Donald Trump, they have a vendetta against Ron DeSantis. And that's why even nowadays, Donald Trump is going after Ron DeSantis almost as much as he is against Joe Biden. So more and more Republicans are viewing him as an enemy, really no different than how they view Democrats. Like, they would almost say that Ron DeSantis is a rhino, a Republican in name only. And even all of his attacks against Disney, like, he's getting backlash within his own people. Like the last paragraph that is said here on my source on Deadline, it actually states, DeSantis's moves have drawn criticism from Trump and other Republicans, including current and potential rivals. Nikki Haley told Fox News that if Disney would like to move its hundreds of thousands of jobs to South Carolina and bring the billions of dollars with them, I will be happy to meet them and introduce them to the governor and the legislature that would welcome it. Pretty much bringing up the rumors that because of how Ron DeSantis is treating Disney, Disney might move Walt Disney World to another state, which I'm just going to say right now, no, that ain't gonna happen. Walt Disney World is going to stay in Florida no matter what. But anyways, going back into this, Mike Pence and Chris Christie also have been critical of DeSantis's targeting of the company. So the thing is that more and more, he's getting a lot of backlash, not from most people, but even in terms of Republicans. His popularity is just diminishing, especially with the fact that he is viewed as an anti-Trump Republican, and even the image of being an anti-woke champion, it's starting to deteriorate. Because at Walt Disney World, when you go to Disney, you could still say gay. Disney is still selling merchandise that are based on the LGBTQ plus community, including for trans people. Like, you can buy Pride pins, you could buy some Pride shirts, and you could buy Pride Mickey ears. Like, there are still those elements that do manage to sell. And even when I was at Walt Disney World, when it was like crowded with like hundreds of thousands of people, I have seen those that are just unapologetically gay. Like, they would, they wear their colors, they would show their pride, they would show their love to their significant other. Like, it is a safe haven for diversity. It is a safe haven for members of the LGBTQ plus community. And so from there, the fact that you could still say gay in a place in Florida, that's why, like I said before, the popularity of Ron DeSantis and his image as an anti-woke champion, it's deteriorating and dying before our very eyes. And that's why I personally feel that with all this happening, it may sound crazy, but I think we are watching the beginning of the end of Ron DeSantis as a political leader. Now, I don't know if I would go and fully say that this is going to be the end of Ron DeSantis's career in general, but I think it's safe to say that he has peaked in terms of his career. Like, there's no way he could go any higher than just being a Florida governor. And so from there, you don't have to be a law expert to know that Ron DeSantis is going to take the L on this one. He is going to lose no matter what. Rather it be the judge ruling in favor of Disney or the Republican Party with Ron DeSantis, they're going to settle with Disney. Like, they're just going to go and, no matter what, they're going to go and take the L. And right afterwards, that's when there's going to be an increasing amount of Republicans that are just going to abandon him. Especially with the fact that now that Republicans are going to be more and more disillusioned by Ron DeSantis, they got to find a way to just get rid of him in general, because they know that the more that they keep DeSantis in power, the more likely that in the near future, Florida is going to turn blue. Now, I'm not saying that the chances are going to be pretty high suddenly, but what I'm saying is that with how people view Ron DeSantis right now, those chances are not zero. And so that's why they got to find they got to find a way to just get rid of him. The fact that he is anti-Trump and the fact that he's not, the fact that woke culture can easily take him down with, by using Disney and stuff like that. I think pretty soon he's going to be a goner. Like, we are watching the downfall of his career again as a political leader. So honestly, that's just something that I just need to comment on. I feel like it's about time that Disney is finally taking action against Ron DeSantis. That honestly, there needs to be someone that needs to put him back in his place. And also, I know that today, technically, there are those Republicans that are saying right now, well, we're going to go and sue Disney back. We're going to do a counter lawsuit, which is honestly freaking bullcrap, because they have nothing against them. Like, if you really had something against Disney, you would have done your little lawsuit a long time ago. Because the truth is, yeah, you want to put up that image of fighting back, but again, you literally have nothing, because you've just been attacking Disney again and again and again for doing something that is considered to be very American, which is using their freedom of speech. Yeah, maybe you don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean that you have to act like a 12-year-old crybaby and you would go and try to attack them again and again just to get them canceled. Like, I don't like how Disney is being inclusive. Disney is treating trans people like normal people. We must cancel them. Blood and soil, blood and soil. They're just doing that bull crap again and again. So honestly, yeah, like it's safe to say that right now they're taking the L, and I think this is just a freaking long time coming. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about the entire lawsuit that's finally happening? How do you feel about this new chapter of Disney versus DeSantis? Let me know what you think. Let's see. LMAO, get nay-nayed Ron. It's great to see Disney saying, all right, pal, you better shut your mouth before your knees go boom. With everything DeSantis has done, Disney has to summon all the greatest lawyers in the world, like that scene in Endgame. Like they need to bring Johnny Cochran, Judy Schneiderlin, Saul Goodman, Marshall Eisen, Lionel Hutz, and those guys in order to take him down. Okay, there's something I need to say. Though it may be pointless since one sentence from Disney's lawyers and the trial might be over. One sentence from Disney's lawyers and the trial might be over in 2 minutes. Okay, honestly, if you want to bring in the best lawyers, some of your suggestions, they're not good. I mean, like, okay, yeah, Judy Schneiderlin, maybe. Saul Goodman and Lionel Hutz? Nah, honestly, I see them more working on the Republican side. Honestly, I don't really see them I don't see them working for Disney because, you know, they ain't great lawyers in the first place. I'm just saying. And also one thing I do need to comment, like, apparently one thing that people absolutely love from this entire lawsuit is when Disney stated, when they said Disney regrets that it has come to this, which is apparently one of the funniest sentences that they could ever say. Like, and I do agree, like, it does sound like something in which, like, Disney would say that, and then there's one person that you will never hear from again. It's like, you know, they would say, you know, Disney regrets that it has come to this. And then they would close the door, close the lights, you hear some screaming, and then suddenly, -1 person. You know, it's like one of those cases. All right, let's see. Honestly, this is a good thing because Ron DeSantis has gone way too far when it comes to attacking Disney. You know how full of crap he truly is when Abigail Disney, who is not hesitant to criticize Disney, Nikki Haley, and even Donald Trump, yes, that Donald Trump, are siding with Disney. Also, comparing Ron DeSantis to a 12-year-old crybaby is an utter insult to 12-year-old crybabies. Yeah, I do get what you mean. And it is crazy. Like, I know that right now, Disney, like I said before, Disney is not the most admirable company as we speak, considering that they are still in a massive round of doing literally thousands of layoffs within their company, and that is just flat out wrong. But we are in a case where we have to support the lesser of two evils, and I think it is safe to say that, well, Disney is the good guys in this case, because what Ron DeSantis is going after Disney for is just being inclusive, for being supportive of the LGBTQ plus community, including trans people. I mean, really, Disney is literally doing nothing wrong in this case. It's just because Ron DeSantis has a freaking mental disorder that prevents him from being empathetic towards other people. So that's why, like, because of his lack of support towards the LGBTQ plus community, including trans people, that's why it is a guarantee that he is going to lose. Let's see. I think I got time for some more comments. Okay. About ding dang time, Disney. After literally more than a year of this entire mess, they finally decided to do what honestly should have been done from the beginning, since I don't think there was any way to satisfy DeSantis and his idiotic supporters. Hopefully, Disney will succeed in finally taking down DeSantis, because he really needs to be taken down. He's quite possibly the worst governor of the world right now, and basically wants to turn Florida into 1860s America, and that alone is beyond scary. Yeah, I mean, it's horrifying to see all the censorship and the book bans and pretty much taking away everyone's First Amendment rights from Florida. And, like, it's about time that there is someone that puts Ron DeSantis in his place to finally say no to him. You know, for someone to be true Americans and to take down fascism like it's 1945. You know, it's about time someone needs to go and actually do such a thing. Oh, let's see. What other comments do we have here? Anyone? Oh, okay. In this case, they are not a perfect company. The Walt Disney Company is finally doing something right this time, which is suing the bastard, aka the Floridian devil, in which nickname Ron DeSantis. The more lawsuits like this happen, the less and less the anti-woke idiots will officially shut the hell up. I'm glad he's now unpopular by his own political party, which is very embarrassing for him. All I can say is, Disney, get him! Yeah, this is funny. It's honestly very funny because this is the one time you might even see some Republicans that are actually siding with Disney. Like, if they, if they want for their true leader, Donald Trump, they gotta go and collaborate with Disney in order to ensure that Ron DeSantis is fully out of the picture. And I think it's safe to say it is much easier to get rid of Ron DeSantis than it is to get rid of woke culture. I'm just saying. I'll read one more comment before we take our next break. I'll go over here. I am extremely I am extremely happy this is finally happening. After a year of Ron DeSantis went after Disney, they are finally suing him. Ron DeSantis has pretty much become this anti-woke monster and someone who should be criminalized for his actions. So overall, seeing Disney sue him for his actions is so satisfying. And it really goes to show how Bob Iger is willing to do anything as a CEO, while Bob Chapek would do absolutely nothing. Exactly. And that's the one thing I almost forgot to mention. The one moment that Republicans should have been so afraid, the moment that they knew that their time is over, was when Bob Chapek stepped down and Bob Iger came in. Because one thing that many people forgot was that Bob Iger was among the first prominent people to denounce the Don't Say Gay bill. He was the first to actually go and say that what Ron DeSantis was doing is wrong. So when Bob Iger came back as CEO, that was the signal that those anti-woke people say that, oh crap, our culture wars are done. Like, that's when they know that all the culture wars against Disney, the anti-woke people would all immediately lose. All right, so now, with that said, it is now time we go on to our next break, and we're gonna have maybe not necessarily a break from Disney, but we are going to see a bit of a mutation of a certain franchise that technically has a Disney connection, but is now in public domain. You'll see what I mean when we come back after this. And we are back. Now, for our next story, we are going to be talking about Winnie the Pooh. And ever since it entered into the public domain, people were just filled with glee of all the potential things that they could do with the beloved A.A. Milne characters. One idea that was executed was a horror film called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which actually turned out to be not good, from what I hear. I mean, I haven't seen it yet because I'm saving it for a potential AniMat watches, but apparently all that weight and all that hype, no, it was just not worth it. But apparently, this is not going to be the only time that Winnie the Pooh enters into the adult market. Oh, well, I don't mean that adult market, but I mean into the world of having an adult audience where Winnie the Pooh would do more mature stuff. No, not that kind of mature stuff. I mean like other mature stuff. Get your mind out of the gutter on that one, especially with Winnie the Pooh characters. Yeesh. But anyways, what I am talking about is that now that Winnie the Pooh has his fill of blood, now it is time that Winnie the Pooh wants to have his fill of laughs. Now, I know Winnie the Pooh has already made thousands, if not millions of people laugh across the years, but I mean specifically in an R-rated comedy. Yes, the company's Boat Rocker and Bay Mills Studio have officially announced that they are going to make an R-rated comedy series called Christopher Robin. And to give you a little more context of what this Christopher Robin series is going to be, I'll be reading again from my source on Deadline. As it states, Christopher Robin is a comedic live-action animation hybrid reimagining of A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh. Per the logline, Christopher Robin is a disillusioned New Yorker navigating his quarter-life crisis with the help of his weird talking animals who live beyond a drug-induced portal outside his derelict apartment complex, the 100 Acres. If you could excuse me for a moment. I thought I was going to sneeze, but it looks like no. It decided to it decided to say, nah, never mind. That feeling sucks, you know what I mean? But yeah, apparently that seems to be the plot line where Christopher Robin is now this someone who is in his mid-20s, and he is disillusioned, and apparently he's from New York, and the Winnie the Pooh characters, well, apparently they're in this drug-induced portal, so it makes me think of a little bit like Rick and Morty. So apparently Christopher Robin would have to take drugs if he wants to see Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and all those people. The script, apparently, it will be written by Charlie Kesslering, who has previously worked on Most Likely To and Turned On. And apparently the pilot episode is actually going to be done is actually going to be directed by animation veteran Conrad Vernon. And by the way, both these people are also going to be executive producers. And we don't necessarily have a confirmation of a release date or on which channel or which streaming service is going to be coming out on. But what we do know is that now they are going to be making an R-rated hybrid comedy of Christopher Robin. And I don't know about you guys, but after I heard about this news, I can't help but feel, well, just tired. You know, honestly, I feel like we're at the point where, like, taking these children franchises or taking these, like, kid-friendly things and try to make them more adult, I feel like we're at the point where it's just, like, it's been overdone. In a way, like, the Five Nights at Freddy's effect, like, it's already been way too overused, and, like, now it's at the point it just feels so tiring. And, like, even hearing about this right now, like, the fact that, oh, Christopher Robin is just this disillusioned, this disillusioned young adult New Yorker, and the Winnie the Pooh characters are actually drug hallucinations and stuff like that. I don't know, like, just hearing that concept alone, like, already I just feel turned off. Like, that thing, honestly, it sounds more like something that would come out of, like, either Saturday Night Live, or it's like one of those, like, cutaway gags in Family Guy. You know, like, this honestly does feel like something that Family Guy would do. Like, you would see Peter just on the side, like, in one random scene, like, Lois, I don't know. I just feel disappointed. I feel like disappointed, like, when I heard that Christopher Robin is actually a disillusioned young adult New Yorker and that the Winnie the Pooh characters were actually a drug hallucination. You know, it kind of sounds like one of those cutaway gags. Or, you know what? Considering the fact that this is a series and that this is just going to be one long running gag, you know what it actually sounds like? It's not something from Saturday Night Live. It's not something from Family Guy. This actually sounds more like a Nostalgia Critic joke. This actually sounds like something that you would find in a modern Nostalgia Critic episode where Doug Walker would do one of his, like, really extensive sketches where, like, he would review something like the 2018 Winnie the Pooh movie, and he would go and do something like this, where he would portray the Winnie the Pooh characters as, like, these drug hallucinations, and you would see this Christopher Robin as, like, some kind of deadbeat. Like that totally sounds on brand with what the Nostalgia Critic would definitely do. But apparently, it's not a Nostalgia Critic sketch. Apparently now it's going to be turned into a live-action animation R-rated hybrid. So honestly, in that regard, and especially after hearing about what has happened with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I just feel like, honestly, it's just very tiring, you know? Like, just like, it's at the point where it feels like, you know, people are just taking these properties and, like, they don't really know what to do with it, and they're just doing, like, the usual adult shtick. Like, make it overly violent, like with Blood and Honey. Make it overly, actually, oh my god, I just realized, okay, this might sound crazy, but I feel like what we are doing with Winnie the Pooh right now, with the fact that now he's in the public domain, you know what we're doing? We're doing exactly like what happened with Ren and Stimpy with the adult cartoon party. Like, what it is just take Winnie the Pooh and just throw in all a bunch of like random adult things, and thinking that the concept alone of Winnie the Pooh doing these weird adult things would go and immediately sell. You know, like, make Winnie the Pooh overly violent, and that's what they did with Blood and Honey. Oh, have Winnie the Pooh be related to like all forms of stupid drugs, and then you would go and have this Christopher Robin series. Or like, maybe there's gonna be a point in the show where like they're gonna throw in all the random sex jokes, like, oh, put in all the sex related things with Winnie the Pooh, and that alone is just comedy gold right there. And that's kind of like how I feel right now. Because Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, people want to have an adult party cartoon with Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. That's honestly what it feels like. Now, I am going to put in a massive disclaimer though. Even though I do not like the idea of this concept, I am aware that there is that chance that it could actually turn out good. There is that chance that maybe people like Charlie Kesslering and Conrad Vernon, they will find a way to take this concept, and they could actually find a way to turn it into something funny, into something enjoyable, into something that can actually give people a good time. There is that possibility. But honestly, with this entire concept, with the cheap novelty of having Winnie the Pooh in adult subject matters, and even like the idea of Christopher Robin himself, it feels like, honestly, there's another thing that it kind of reminds me of. It feels like they're trying to take a page off of Rick and Morty. The fact that we're having this disillusioned New Yorker, it almost feels like it's gonna have that same element of nihilicism that very much popularized Rick and Morty, and that made Rick Sanchez such a popular cartoon character. Like, they're putting in that element of pessimism and nihilicism, especially with that kind of with that brand of Christopher Robin. And honestly, like, the more that I think about that, the more I feel like it's going to be just more and more of a turnoff. And maybe this might sound a little bit extreme, but there's a part of me that honestly looks at this and I cannot help but think to myself, do we deserve to have public domain? Should we have should we even have public domain where there are certain things that are free and that we're allowed to transform it into however we want? Especially with what we are seeing with Winnie the Pooh right now, with stuff like Blood and Honey or this R-rated Christopher Robin series. I feel like, you know what, if this is the best we could think of, then I think it's probably for the best for companies to just keep IPs forever. Like, God forbid what will happen next year when Steamboat Willie will go into the public domain, and the best that people could think of with what they want to do with it is just, oh, let's throw in a bunch of drugs, let's overly sexualize Minnie Mouse, let's go and make it hyper violent, let's put that kind of update on Steamboat Willie because it's in the public domain right now. Like, no, man, it's just, it's stuff like this that it feels like we don't deserve public domain, because we're not, if we are going to take advantage of it, this is certainly not it. This is definitely such a backwards way of trying to handle a property like Winnie the Pooh, and just like, if you're not going to have great ideas, then maybe you shouldn't have the rights for that. I feel like so far, the only person who knows how to take advantage of the property with public domain is Dubus Goobus. Like, that guy knows how. Like, have you ever seen Dubus Goobus with his Winnie the Pooh cartoons? They are freaking hilarious, and not to mention that they do stay true to the A.A. Milne character. Honestly, like, that's the only one redeemable reason why Winnie the Pooh should be in the public domain. It's because of those Doofus Goobus cartoons. Other than that, though, stuff like this, I don't know. Like, I would need proof to see if this idea is worthwhile. Otherwise, this is just a stupid idea that they're doing because, well, it's a free idea because Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain and it gives them free access to do whatever they want with the character. So I don't know about you though, but I know there is a chance that maybe this show could turn out to be good. But in terms of the concept that we have here, I am not on board with it whatsoever. All right, so with that said, I would like to know your opinion, though. I would love to know your thoughts. What do you think about this R-rated Christopher Robin comedy series? Would you be interested in checking that out? Would you rather avoid that series? Let me know what you all think on this. Let's see. Let me ask something. Why are they working on Winnie the Pooh project for adult audiences? How asks for adult Winnie the Pooh? What's wrong with more adult Winnie the Pooh? I'm so bored. No originality. Another boring Family Guy or Rick and Morty ripoff with the concept idea is meh. When are we getting an animated series based on Red Sonja or Vampirella? Those will work and never got adapted for years. But I don't know, man. But honestly, the best reason is because it's in the public domain, because it's free. They don't have to pay for any IP licensing or anything like that. I mean, it's an iconic character. They can do whatever they want with it. It's free. So there you go. You know, like now that Winnie the Pooh is in the same leagues as like Dracula or as I don't even know what it's like. What else is in the public domain? I'm sure there's like a bunch of stuff out there, but like consider or another example, like Alice in Wonderland, or even The Jungle Book. Considering that all of those are in the public domain, like it just gives them free access to do whatever they want with it. Let's see. You know, what's this whole debacle with Winnie the Pooh with what Winnie the Pooh sounds like? 2018 for Sherlock Holmes. Remember when the Sherlock Holmes book became public domain, and in 2018 we got 2 god-awful movies about Sherlock? That's what this is sounding like. And with how those movies turned out, the thought of what's next is more terrifying than the intense Luigi's Mansions run I'm playing right now. Oh, geez, good luck with that, dude. Exactly, man. It's just like, when something, you know, when you hear about a popular property that goes into the public domain, that it becomes free for anyone to use, like, do people have the best ideas of what they can do with the property? Like, does it have to be geared towards adults? Like, honestly, this entire shtick of trying to implement really mature content onto like a child-friendly property, like, it's been overdone. Like, honestly, the Five Nights at Freddy's effect is starting to become like, you know, it's starting to become worse and worse now. Like, you know, like Five Nights at Freddy's had like, it's starting to be more of a stain in our culture, more so than it is a blessing. Let's see, what else do we have here? After going through a terrible experience with Blood and Honey, I will never support any adaptation that turns Winnie the Pooh characters into R-rated territory. And since I hear that the Christopher Robin series is getting a similar treatment already, I hate this idea. It sounds like a long cutaway gag that normally comes out of Family Guy or a modern Nostalgia Critic episode, and I don't see it working. This feels like torture porn just to exploit their hate for a beloved character, and that's it. It's, again, it's not necessarily the character itself. It's not because the character is hated or anything like that. It's because it's free. And we live in an age where people still think that taking children properties or something that seems kid-friendly and trying to really mature that thing up apparently seems to be like a hot ticket item, when in reality, it's just being way too freaking overdone. Let's see what else we have here. This is honestly a really bad idea. Making Christopher Robin a drug-induced adult is ridiculous, and I'm honestly getting sick of people taking Winnie the Pooh and trying to do more adult things with it. So overall, I'm honestly not excited. The only thing this does give me is give me bad flashbacks of Velma, and I really don't want to think about Velma. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to think about Velma. Rather it be the show itself, or like how popular the hate for Velma is. Like, that thing really got out of hand. Seriously, man. Like, I'm glad that we have all moved on from all that stupidity, from that entire trend. But yeah, like, it's something I don't want to re-experience. And hopefully, I still do wish that this Christopher Robin series can turn out to be good, or at the very least better than Velma. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Making R-rated versions of children's media with drugs and violence is just the 2020s version of 2010's dark fairy tale movies. There's so many of them, and all of them are just boring and awful. Is it really so hard to make a mature version of something that was made for children that keeps the original script? Reject edgy darkness, embrace wholesomeness. Although that is kind of a challenge. That honestly is very challenging. Make an R-rated project with Winnie the Pooh, but maintain the wholesomeness of Winnie the Pooh. That's going to be a challenge. I mean, yeah, there is that easy way of like making a biography of Christopher Robin or making a biography of A.A. Milne. But honestly, I would love to see that. Make an R-rated project, but keep the wholesomeness of Winnie the Pooh. If you can do that, then you can prove that there is a way that we can actually make something worthwhile with Winnie the Pooh being in the public domain. All right, I think I'm gonna go with one more comment, and then we're gonna move on to our next break. Let's see. Okay, I'll go with this one. 3 words. Oh, come on! Didn't they already make him suffer enough after the horrendous horror flick in the first place? Talk about abusing the rights. Now they think they can make any children's property and turn it into an adult joke. I honestly hate that. Even Velma did that, and look how well that went. Exactly. And so with that said, it is now time we're going to go into our next break. And I know that we gotten a bit of a bad taste after that talk with Christopher Robin being an R-rated comedy series. But don't worry, the next projects that we'll be talking about and looking into, they may have some potential, so stay tuned for that. And we are back. Now, oh, by the way, Alan, I just want to say sorry if I didn't read the complete comment over there. I thought I did, but maybe you added a bit more, but I don't know. It's Twitch, and sometimes how they phrase the things in like with the chat, like they don't put everything, but I do apologize if I didn't read the entirety of it. But anyways, moving on to our next story that we have over here, we will be talking about Netflix. Now, I know throughout the week we have received so many different announcements coming from companies such as Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, Paramount, and many, many more through CinemaCon. But Netflix also had a big round of announcements of their own. Sure, they were not at CinemaCon because, well, they don't release their movies in theaters, but they did show us a glimpse of what they have in the future, and there may be some that could actually turn out to be promising. So with that said, let's go into a big round of checking out the upcoming movies on Netflix, or specifically their animated movies, because that was the big thing that they actually announced. Like, these are not just all the movies that are going to be coming out for this year. They have actually announced their lineup for what's going to be coming out in the next 18 months. So not just the rest of the animated films for this year, but also some of the movies that will be coming soon in 2024. And so let's actually go and look at them one by one. And our first movie that they have revealed is actually a new one that they have mentioned, and it's going to be In Your Dreams, and this is actually going to be a new series that will be coming out in 2024. And as it states here, once again from my source on Deadline, it says, In Your Dreams is billed as a comedy adventure about Stevie and her brother Elliot, who magically travels into the world of dreams with the mission of finding the Sandman, who will grant them their ultimate wish, saving their parents' marriage. So already this sounds like a fun-filled time right there. These kids are total opposites, making them an unlikely duo to navigate the absurdity of their own subconscious. Along their journey, they discover that as long as they have each other, they can face anything, even their worst nightmare. And by the way, I just want to go and just want to quickly mention on the side that not only did they reveal a whole bunch of new movies that they have coming soon, but they also provided an image of what these films are going to look like. So here is a picture of In Your Dreams. So this is what the movie is going to look like. And here are the kids where they meet up with the Sandman. So this is the idea that they have. And, you know, in concept, it looks like it's going to be something that could be heartfelt, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on this one. I'm not going to go and immediately hold my breath as to how this movie is going to be. There's a part of me that feels like the plot line does feel a little bit generic, and like we've already heard this type of movie before. But then again, like I could see the possibilities, especially if the kids are going to be in the land of dreams. It will give the animators a lot of material for a lot of like creative will building that they can do. But anyways, let's go and move on to our next one. Our next story that we have over here, or the next movie that they have, is actually going to be the long-awaited Sandy Cheeks movie. Yes, Netflix has revealed what's going to be in store with the next SpongeBob movie, which is going to be called Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. To which it states here, the plot is going to be about Bikini Bottom and all of its denizens are suddenly scooped out of the ocean, with Sandy Cheeks and SpongeBob SquarePants then journeying to Texas to save the town from a villainous plot. And along with many of the beloved actors that are there who are going to be coming back for this movie to reprise their roles, such as Carolyn Lawrence as Sandy Cheeks, and of course Tom Kenny as SpongeBob. And then of course we also got Clancy Brown, Mr. Lawrence, Roger Bumpus. We also got other guest stars such as Wanda Sykes. We also got, of course, Bill Fagerbach as Patrick. We also got Wanda Sykes, Johnny Knoxville, Craig Robertson, Craig Delisle, Ilya Israelis, Paulino, I think I got that name right, and Maddie Cardarapol. Man, I'm having difficulties with saying names nowadays. I am sorry for that, people, but you get the idea. This movie is going to be coming out in 2024, and we even got an image of how it's going to look, which it seems like it's going to be a lot more reminiscent to what we previously had with the last SpongeBob movie. And also, I just want to quickly mention on the side, yes, I am aware that Paramount has also revealed there is going to be another SpongeBob movie that is going to be coming out exclusively in theaters, in which it's going to be coming out in 2025. And if memory serves correct, apparently that plot line, they say that it's going to be the most epic SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob will be facing against the Flying Dutchman. So there is that plot line that is going to be happening. That movie will be in theaters, but for now, Netflix is going to have this feature in which we will have Sandy saving Bikini Bottom. But moving right along right now, of course, one thing that they have revealed that many people are excited for, what is debatably the most anticipated animated movie on Netflix, we are talking, of course, about Nimona, in which they did mention that, yes, this movie shall indeed be coming soon, and even earlier they have revealed that the film, not only will it be released this summer, but it will be having its world premiere at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, and even provided us with some new images. Now, as you can see, we already got a little bit of that, well, not entirely, but a bit of the same stylized CG animation like we got before with Disney's Wish. And also, I gotta say, like, this wanted poster of, like, the two main characters, honestly, I love it. Like, you see Nimona on the side, and it's like, we're on TV! And I gotta say, I love this face of Nimona right here. Like, I love this face that she looks like a little freaking gremlin. You know, honestly, this right here, this is the face of someone who is ready to go and buy Twitter Blue so that they could go and impersonate J.K. Rowling on Twitter so that they could continuously spam, "I was wrong, trans rights are human rights." That is the face of someone who is ready to go and do that. Honestly, I freaking love it. And we haven't even gotten a trailer. That's the best part. So yeah, so I think it's safe to say that among all the things that they have announced here, this, and I would say maybe even the Saving Bikini Bottom movie, that's the one I'm definitely excited for the most. But anyways, moving right along to what we have here. Also, they have mentioned what they have in store. Another movie that is going to be coming soon this summer on Netflix is going to be The Monkey King, in which they stated is a family comedy that follows a charismatic monkey and his magical fighting stick on an epic quest for victory over 100 demons, an eccentric dragon king, and Monkey's greatest foe of all, his own ego, including an extra little image that we do have over here. And I will say, I am intrigued with what they have in store because I am familiar with the lore of the Monkey King. Or I do remember there was this old Chinese animated movie of the Monkey King that is surprisingly really good. It's actually available on YouTube. Like, you could check it out for free, and I highly recommend it. It's honestly great. So honestly, I don't know if it's going to live up like with this Monkey King, but we will see. We'll definitely see, but I am definitely going to go and keep an eye on this one. But then after that, they also mention about the movie Leo, which I think they did reveal before that this is going to be coming out in the fall, or I believe it's going to be coming out in November. But they stated that this is indeed the coming of age musical comedy that is going to star Adam Sandler. So after his whole shtick with Hotel Transylvania, Adam Sandler is going to be coming back in animation with this one. And we also got an image right over here with this Riley looking girl from Inside Out. So I understand that maybe some people may be dreading, because the fact that we are getting an animated musical comedy starring Adam Sandler, people are going to immediately go and have a suddenly like having PTSD style flashbacks of 8 Crazy Nights. But then again, I don't know. I'm going to be open to this. We're going to see how this may go. And I know Adam Sandler actually has a good singing voice, so maybe this could all work out. I mean, like, they set the bar very low with Hotel Transylvania, so it's going to be very easy to make something that's better than at least any of those movies. Okay, moving right along. The next movie that they've also mentioned is regarding the long-awaited sequel to Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget, in which they have mentioned here that the movie picks up with the chicken Ginger following her death-defying escape from Tweety's farm at a point where she finally found her dream, a peaceful island sanctuary for the whole flock, far from the dangers of the human world. When she and Rocky hatch a little girl called Molly, Ginger's happy ending seems complete. But back on the mainland, the whole of chicken kind faces a new and terrible threat. And on top of that, we also got an image here featuring all the familiar, well, not all, but many of the familiar characters from the original movie. So they're promising us that they're going to have a major comeback. And I've already stated this before, but there's a part of me that can't help but feel a little bit doubtful, not only because we're getting a brand new cast in this. Well, I mean, there are some changes that are necessary because, yeah, you cannot bring back Mel Gibson into the mainstream. But it's more the fact that I don't really see how a Chicken Run sequel is necessary. I mean, I love the first movie, but does it honestly need a sequel though? I don't know. I feel like it just works as is. So I don't know. I may have my doubts, but we will see. We'll see how it goes. And then after that, they have also mentioned a new Christmas movie that's coming soon called That Christmas, which is actually going to be brought to us by Locksmith Animation. And if you guys remember Locksmith Animation, they were the same people that recently did the movie Ron's Gone Wrong, which honestly, I find it to be underrated. It's not a great movie, but honestly, it's surprisingly nice. It's a surprisingly enjoyable feature, and I feel like more people should go and check that film out, honestly. It deserves a bit more attention. But anyways, they stated here, this is a telling of a series of entwined tales about love and loneliness, family and friends, and Santa Claus making a big mistake, not to mention an enormous number of turkeys. To which they do have the image right over here, which I don't know. I feel like this one is going to be a bit of a wait and see kind of deal. I don't know. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be like as hyped up as I am for Nimona, but I don't know, but we'll see how this one goes. And then afterwards, we got a brand newly announced animated movie called Thelma the Unicorn, to which it follows the small-time pony of the same name who dreams of becoming a glamorous music star. In a pink and glitter-filled moment of fate, Thelma is transformed into a unicorn and instantly rises to global stardom. But this new life of fame comes at a cost. And we actually do have the image right over here, which it looks like they're going towards a, well, not a completely, but a similar stylized look that a part of it kind of like, especially like this guy who I think is supposed to be the agent. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the Willoughbys. Like it looks like it might have a little bit of that same style. Like, I don't know if it's going to be as stylistic as that film, but it looks like it's going to be a bit more of a cartoony CG film. And then last but not least, there is also the animated Ultraman movie, based on the beloved Japanese character, which follows baseball superstar Ken Sato as he returns to his home country of Japan to pick up the mantle of Earth-defending superhero Ultraman, in which that film, not only is it going to be directed by Shannon Tyndall, but also they stated that the movie is going to be coming out in 2024. And we have already seen this image before, and some people are saying that this may be promised to be Netflix's answer to Spider-Verse, especially like with this hyper stylized look that they have over here, like really leaning into that comic book, that comic book filter. So really going into that style. So these are all the animated films that they have revealed for Netflix. So like I said before, if I would have to pick the ones that I am the most excited for, I would probably have to say Nimona. And well, as a SpongeBob fan, I would definitely go with Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. And if I have to pick one more, I would say maybe either the Monkey King or Leo. I mean, technically there is also Ultraman as well, but then again, like, I'm waiting until we see more of that. So yeah, those are the ones that I would say I'm definitely the most excited for. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, what do you all think about all these animated movies that Netflix has announced? And also, which ones are you the most excited for? Let me know what you think now. Whoops, nope, this is not the one that I want to move. I want to go into the chat wall. Okay, there we go. I gotta say, there's a lot of great announcements here. For me, my most anticipated movie is definitely Nimona, and I hope it lives up to the hype. However, one I am not excited for is the Saving Bikini Bottom movie. I've honestly given up on SpongeBob. I've stopped watching the show altogether because of Nickelodeon's oversaturation of the franchise. Ah, okay, I see. All right, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I don't blame you. I understand. Like, Nickelodeon can sometimes go a little bit too hard on SpongeBob. You know, like suddenly stuffing our faces with SpongeBob. I get that. But anyways, let's see. Oh, King Cerulean has a lightning round, so let's go and do this. In your dreams could possibly have creative visuals. Saving Bikini Bottom, it will be fun to see Sandy have the spotlight. Nimona, all the hype. The Monkey King, we got another movie on the Sung Wukong hype train. Leo, not so sure about it. Chicken Run, never forget what happened. Never forget how they treated Julia Sawala, the original voice of Ginger. That Christmas, oh, another generic Christmas movie. Thelma, that human design is just weird. Ultraman, that image alone just gives me hype. All right, very good round there. Okay, interesting. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see here. One of my most anticipated films released by Netflix would have to be Nimona, that Sandy Cheeks movie, and Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. Everything else looks okay at best. I'm sure they are pretty good at best, and glad Netflix hasn't canceled anything so far. That is true. You know, hey, it's better to have a list of announcements than a list of cancellations. Well, it's great to see that we have gone 180 to what happened last year. You know what I'm saying? All right, what else do we have? All the first looks for upcoming animated films on Netflix looks great, but I am more excited for Nimona. I'm glad the film is finally finished last March, and the great female protagonist and a wanted poster looks like J.K. Rowling gonna have huge nightmares. Well, I mean, I guess you're kind of taking my joke, but anyways, even I did a fan art of Nimona that you could find mine on Twitter. Check it out later, which is at MoonX707. All right, very nice, very nice. Let's see. They got some great content cooking up for us soon. The one that I am the most excited are Saving Bikini Bottom, Thelma the Unicorn, and Chicken Run 2. But out of them all, Nimona takes the cake. Finally, we got the updates on the movie, as Netflix seems to be very slow on updates regarding that. But regardless, I cannot wait for Nimona to come out. She's alive! She's alive! All right, I think okay. We got a couple more comments, and then we'll go on to the next break. I think I will be there to watch Nimona and Sandy Cheeks the most, while Leo and Chicken Run sequel feel a bit iffy and too unsure. For others, like the Monkey King movie, I'll give it a wait and see. So other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, I'll read one more comment before we go. Let's see. Oh, well, not before we go, but like before our next break. All to say, for SpongeBob, I honestly don't know. I love a SpongeBob with all my heart, but for the recent content, I have not been, from the recent content has not been so great lately, especially since Sandy's movie plot seems as similar as the musicals, except with more comedy and less of the political message. And Dutchman seems more like a plot based on SpongeBob's first video game, where he was the main antagonist. As for Chicken Run 2, if Wallace and Gromit can have 4 shorts, why not? It might turn out great. All right, so we got one more story to go here, and with this one, well, I know I've already talked so much about this movie and so much about the subject, but considering that we are at a historical moment that it has officially broken the record, I think it's time that we do have to go and talk about it. And now, people, it is time that we shall go and conclude this episode with the grand finale. And ooh, finally, I got the timing right on this one. And for this story, I know that technically this is a subject that I've already talked about a few times in the past recent episodes of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. We already dug deep into why it happened, the progress of how well it is going, and even the potential of this moment happening. Well, the time has finally come, people. The moment has finally occurred during the weekend. So with that said, let's go ahead and finally discuss about the Super Mario Bros. Movie crossing $1 billion. Yes, folks, it has finally happened. The Super Mario Bros. Movie has managed to hit $1 billion at the global box office. And a big thanks is actually because of what happened this weekend. Because not only did the movie manage to stay at #1, where it managed to collect $40 billion after, like, what, its 3rd or 4th weekend? Like, that's actually pretty impressive. But also because of the fact of one major significant moment, the Super Mario Bros. Movie has finally been released in Japan. So you know that the hype for that movie in that country, like, it must have been extravagant. I know those people are very much excited for it, debatably about as much as the United States, so it's a guarantee that they would really go and help boost up the box office numbers. So as I am recording this for this episode, so far, the numbers, while they are very much admirable, where in terms of the box office numbers, according to my source on Box Office Mojo, the domestic total that the Super Mario Bros. Movie has is $490 million. Again, that is domestically. Internationally, it has made $532.5 million, and now the worldwide total is $1.022 billion. So not only is this the third Illumination movie to officially cross the $1 billion mark after Despicable Me 3 and the first Minions movie, but also it has a lot of historical relevance. This is the second non-Disney IP that has an animated feature that crossed $1 billion at the box office. But not only that, but possibly the biggest record of them all is that this is the first ever animated feature to pass $1 billion since Frozen 2 back in 2019. Ever since the whole pandemic, now there is an animated movie that has finally crossed the $1 billion mark. Now, at this point, if you have watched AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then you already know about all the reasons. We have already discussed so much as to why is it the Super Mario Brothers movie is so far the biggest blockbuster, the most successful movie of 2023 so far, and we haven't even reached the summer. Like, we have already discussed so many factors, rather it be the marketing with Illumination and especially with Nintendo Direct, the fact that it was done by Illumination, the rewatchability of it, the viral nature of the Peaches song, and several other factors as well. But ultimately, we have discussed about why is it that this would go and happen. And we've already predicted, like, it was inevitable that it would go and immediately cross $1 billion. Like, if there was one movie that was capable of doing that, it was the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, I will give it, last year, Minions: The Rise of Gru was actually very close in achieving that, but it did not manage to do so. Like, I think it only ended up with around like 900 million. It was close, but it did not. But the Super Mario Brothers movie has managed to cross that line. It has managed to go and achieve that goal. And in that regard, I think honestly, this is a very significant moment in not just Illumination's history, but also in the current stance of the animation industry. Because this right here is not just a win for this feature. It's a massive win for the entirety of the animation industry. And the reason why I say that is because now that we do have an animated film that is capable of making $1 billion at the box office in this post-pandemic era, this will go and immediately give studios, it will give companies all the confidence that they need to go and release more animated features on the big screen. It proves that animated films can be massively profitable and they can go and break records at the box office. That, yes, it is a much more profitable idea to go and take your movie and put it on the big screen. We have officially passed the idea of just saving your movie and just release it digitally or just put it directly to streaming, like what Disney, Pixar, and Sony Animation has been doing during the pandemic. Now we have passed that time, and now it is safe to go and release those films onto the big screen because they can indeed be massively profitable, just like with Minions: Rise of Gru and with the Super Mario Brothers movie. And from there, this will go set a new standard. This will go and set a precedence because in a way, the Super Mario Brothers movie is going to be a little bit of a practice for not just moviegoers, but especially for families and for kids to go back to the movie theater to go and watch to go and watch a movie, to go and watch an animated film. And what I am hoping for is that with this success, it will go and encourage more people to go and watch movies on the big screen like they used to before the pandemic. Hopefully this effect can go and trickle down, that we see more animated features become highly successful at the box office with films such as Across the Spider-Verse, with Elemental, with Wish, with Ruby Gillman, and many, many more. Hopefully with those, they can become, I'm not saying that they're going to become massively successful, just like what we saw with the Super Mario Brothers movie, but that they can become profitable and that they can also become box office hits. And that's why I feel like this is a major win for not just the movie itself, for not just Illumination, for not just Universal, but for the entirety of the animation industry. Yes, the Super Mario Brothers movie's win is also a victory for Disney, for Warner Brothers, for Pixar, for Sony, for Paramount, for all the for DreamWorks, for all those other companies. Like, this is also a major win for them, that hopefully this can go and have a long-term effect, that people will watch more animated films on the big screen instead of just waiting for them to be released onto like Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon or whatever. So hopefully this will go and set that brand new precedence. And I can't wait to see what movies we'll have in store now that it is safe to go back and watch movies on the big screen, that we can move on from that pandemic mentality. I mean, I know some people will say that technically, yes, we are still in the pandemic. COVID is still around. And there are even some people that I personally know that did get COVID in the past few weeks. But then again, it is not much of a threat as much as it is last time. And as long as we are still up to date with our vaccines, like, we should still be good no matter what. Yes, it will suck if we do end up getting COVID, but I mean, like, it's not going to be as critical or as deadly as it was when we thought about the subject back in 2020. So at least we can go back into that time. But also, I just want to go and quickly mention, by the way, just a little bit of like an extra side story, because it is related to the Super Mario Brothers movie, because it's actually really funny, because I saw this news suddenly pop up and I cannot help but just laugh, because what happened was that apparently, while there are some people who were enjoying the Super Mario Brothers movie on the big screen, some of them apparently were enjoying it on Twitter. No joke. Someone apparently was able to upload the entire movie onto Twitter so that people could just go and check it out for free. How is that possible? Well, it's thanks to Elon Musk's ingenuity with his new Twitter Blue program. Yes, it is specifically from a Twitter Blue account named Vids That Go Hard. And with the special ability, because when you do subscribe to Twitter Blue, you would be able to go and upload videos that are up to 60 minutes long in full 1080p HD. And apparently what this person did is that they decided to go and upload like one big part of the movie that's like the entire hour, and then and then immediately afterwards they would go like right underneath, they posted the rest of the movie so that people can go and watch the film for free. In fact, let me just go and quickly read you here from my source. Yes, again from Deadline. It actually states, the account Vids That Go Hard posted the box office smash early Sunday morning. User Twilight Sparkle posted a short caption with a profanity to announce the uploads. The account has 1.1 million followers and estimates of multiple million of page views as high as 9 million, and have been reported before the film was finally taken down. Now, I am not here to try to scold the user or the account that did that. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, that is morally wrong, they shouldn't do that, that is illegal, you know, that's like piracy. No, honestly, there's a part of me that finds it really hilarious, because this really does highlight a massive significant problem, well, another massive significant problem with Twitter right now. And it's not really the user that I'm worried about that's going to be in serious trouble. I think it's more Elon Musk that is in trouble, because now he has to deal with copyright issues. I mean, let's be honest, when it comes to Universal, if you know how Universal is on YouTube, then you know that they are absolutely merciless. Case in point, go talk to Saberspark, because poor dude is having so much trouble trying to upload his Balto review, and it's mainly because of all the copyright troubles that he is facing with Universal. And I really hope that he does resolve that soon, because even I'm actually excited to see what he has in store with the with the Balto retrospective that he has. But anyways, yeah, so Universal is massively merciless when it comes to copyright on social media sites like YouTube. So imagine how they feel when they see that there's this one person that uploaded the entirety of their latest smash hit so that people can go and watch it for free, and that Universal would make no money out of it. Oh, they must have had a serious talk to with Elon, because yeah, if copyright is going to be another issue that Elon Musk has to face with Twitter, then that's going to add an extra layer of why this website is not going to last long, and the many problems that it has. I mean, like, technically, this would have been an easy problem to resolve if it weren't for the fact that Elon went and fired, like, the grand majority of the staff that was working on Twitter. I'm sure that he probably even fired the people who was in charge of handling the copyright situation on Twitter. Like, that could have been, like, honestly, it could have been easy back in, like, October or September of 2022. But nowadays, yeah, I feel like that would set a very dangerous precedent for Twitter if Twitter Blue users can have the ability to just go and immediately upload big name movies on Twitter so that everyone can go and watch it for free. So yeah, honestly, like, it's just a little side piece that I want to quickly go and mention. But yeah, honestly, like, with the Super Mario Brothers movie officially reaching $1 billion, I mean, this has been a long time coming, but now people are asking the big question, okay, so now that we have officially reached the $1 billion mark, is it gonna go and break the big record for the highest grossing animated film of all time? Will it be able to dethrone not just Frozen 2, but especially the 2019 Lion King remake? Will it be able to truly be the highest grossing animated film of all time? And in that regard, I gotta say, I don't know, because even Frozen 2 is a very tough hurdle to go and beat. Because I would say right now that, like, considering that now we have entered the month of May, now we're slowly but surely starting to see the summer blockbusters. And I think, and especially, like, this week as I am recording this, there's going to be the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I'm sure that one is going to completely overshadow the Super Mario Brothers movie in terms of the box office. And people are going to go and immediately rush to go and see that, especially when this is going to be the grand finale of not just the Guardians, but also the grand finale of James Gunn working at Marvel for now, before he fully invests his time onto DC. So at that point, I could see the box office numbers for Mario to, like, rapidly diminish, and, like, maybe Japan is really going to go and pick up the slack, but it's going to be hard to imagine if it's going to go and even surpass Frozen 2, which, keep in mind, Frozen 2 right now has about, I believe, $1.45 billion. So getting that additional $450 million at this point, that's going to be extremely difficult. But I mean, it's not impossible though. So I guess we're going to go and wait and see with how the results of that are going to be. So with all that said, though, I would just like to go and say congratulations to the entire team at Illumination Entertainment for making another massive smash hit with the Super Mario Brothers movie. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, how do you feel about the Mario movie officially breaking $1 billion at the box office? Let me know what you think on that. Let's see. Once again, to Nintendo and Illumination, congratulations to the success for Super Mario Brothers. I love the movie so much, and hopefully more animated films will be as successful as Mario. Heck, even Jared Bush was happy about the results and calling out Twitter Animation on their toxic behavior. Can't wait to get the movie on 4K Blu-ray. Yeah, honestly, I'm excited too. I'm excited as well to get that home media release, and honestly, yeah, good on, yeah, we need more people to call out animation Twitter, or, like, animation fans on Twitter, because, yeah, like, honestly, their toxicity and cynicism is just going way too far. I know, like, let me be the first to go and ask, what the fridge does animation Twitter know about animation anyways? Seriously, what do they know? It needs to be said. I'm just saying. But anyways, let's see. The Mario movie has just been winning over and over again in the box office, and now that it has broken the 1 billion mark, it really shows the power of both Illumination and Mario. This is not just a major win for animation for reaching the $1 billion mark after the pandemic start, but it's also a massive eye-opener that shows how profitable video game adaptations can be and opens up the possibility for many more video game adaptations, including many Nintendo franchises in the future. Well, I think in terms of that one, that's going to be up to Illumination, or especially, it's going to be up to Nintendo. Let's see. It should be no surprise that the Super Mario Bros. Movie has crossed the $1 billion mark since Frozen 2. But it is the first video game movie to ever cross that mark, making it possible for even more video game adaptations to actually cross that mark. So congratulations in breaking that mark. What are you talking about again? I don't know. Are you talking about that mark? I'm just not sure. Could you, like, you didn't specify enough if it's actually regarding that mark. I'm just fooling, dude. But anyways, now that it is all said and done, does Across the Spider-Verse have a chance to join the $1 billion club, given its hype, Spider-Man's popularity, and since Far From Home and No Way Home did accomplish that? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say no. I mean, like, this is not dissing Spider-Verse and stuff like that, but you gotta keep in mind that with the first movie, it made, like, what? around $400 million globally, and just over 250 million, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that the numbers for Spider-Verse are, you know, like, it's a very successful movie. Like, it was a box office hit, but it's not like a big box office smash in the levels of, like, Illumination's average. And with that, and especially with the competition that's going to be coming up, especially with stuff like the Little Mermaid remake, Elemental, The Flash, and all those movies, I'm sorry, but I highly doubt Across the Spider-Verse is going to cross that mark. I mean, it's probably going to be a box office hit for sure, but making the same numbers as the Mario movie? I think not. Let's see, what other comments do we have? Do we have any more? Okay, I'll probably just read one more and then we'll call it a day. This record was very deserved. I had an absolute blast watching this movie in theaters, and it really was a love letter to Mario fans and stayed true to the games, so it is deserved. Although I don't know if it will become the highest grossing movie of all time because of all the summer movies coming out, and this weekend it will be dethroned by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Exactly, I just mentioned that actually. And with that said, that should do it for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And hey, I am actually really glad that we managed to do so with no internet interruptions. So that definitely, I think this episode turned out to be a smash hit. And with all that said, I would like to go and say that if you would like to go and have more of your fill of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't forget to subscribe to me on Twitch at AniMat Live and on the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel, as well as following me on whatever podcast service you're listening to, rather it be on Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, and many, many more. So with all that said, tune in next week for more fun-filled and wacky adventures here at AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.